So thank you for joining us as UTEP is about to introduce its new football coach, the 25th head coach in the history of the program. As UTEP heads towards its centennial celebration, I think it's fitting that the new coach is one that has a past with this great university as both a student athlete and an assistant coach. And I can still vividly visualize, and I'm sure many of you in this room as well can too, number 57 protecting both Sammy Garza and Pat Haggerty and clearing the way for John Harvey. Both Sean and his wife Patsy are from Buffalo, New York, but I think it's safe to say that both consider El Paso their second home. It's always my great pleasure and honor to introduce the number one minor. Dr. Natalicio has created such a tremendous amount of positive momentum on this campus as it approaches its centennial observance. So without further delay, I give you the president of the University of Texas at El Paso, Dr. Diana Natalicio.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes. I apologize for my voice. I'm not in good form today, so I'm going to try to be very, very brief. I want to thank all of you for being here today because this is a really very happy day on the University of Texas at El Paso campus. We're celebrating a new relationship with an old friend and a member of the UTEP family, and that's always very exciting. As I've often said, there is nothing better, really, than welcoming back to our campus someone who knows us well and who cares deeply about this university and what we accomplish. So I just want to express my appreciation to Bob Stull, our athletic director, who has done so much to bring excellence to the intercollegiate athletics program at the University of Texas at El Paso. Bob has been a great athletic director over the past years, and I am always confident when there is a change in coaches that Bob will do exactly the right thing, and I think in this case we can all agree that he's done that again. I also want to thank Richard Adauto, who represents me so well in these search processes and who has spent the past couple of weeks with Bob in the search process. I want to thank everybody in the athletic program and especially in the football program for your patience as we make the transition. We appreciate your goodwill and we look very much forward to working together with you. And finally, let me welcome our new football coach, who is not a new face to most of us, and that makes us all feel pretty good. And we're all confident that he's going to take this program to great new heights, together with all of the Tier 1 activity on the campus on the academic side, and just in time for our 100th birthday. Thank you very much.
What is this, your first head coaching job? Looks like you got your game face on already. Belatedly, if you've not done so, would you please silence all your cell phones? And when we do make Coach Kugler available for questioning, when you do state a question, please give your name and your affiliation as well. The man who had the wisdom to select Sean Kugler as UTEP's next head football coach is perhaps better positioned to do so, I think, than any of his colleagues across the country, given his vast experience in athletics, his own success as UTEP's football coach, and his wide array of contacts across this great nation. Bob Stull was better suited than anyone else to make the choice of UTEP's new head football coach. The Director of Athletics at the University of Texas at El Paso, Bob Stull.
First of all, just let me say how thrilled I am to have Cougs back. As all of you know, Sean actually played for me back in 1988 when we won 10 games and went to the Independence Bowl game. And when we started talking about new coaches, we started thinking back, and Sean certainly has had a tremendous history since he left here. You know, he was part of that 10-win team as a player. He came back and started his coaching career really here as a graduate assistant, worked his way to a full-time offensive line coach, and that was the year that we won the championship here in the WAC with Coach Nord. Went on to go to Detroit with Marty Morningwig, who was a coach here at one point, and stayed on with Mariucci. Then went back in college coaching, went to Boise State the year they went undefeated and beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, which was one of the most exciting games that anybody can ever remember in college football. Went back to the pros, was at Buffalo, and most recently with the Steelers, and actually coached in the Super Bowl in 2010-11. So he's a tremendous background. Anybody that you talk to will say that nobody's a better teacher than Sean. I mean, I talked to Chris Peterson. I talked to Coach Tomlin, and they said there's nobody that does a better job teaching. In fact, Chris Peterson said that after Sean left, that he really had all assistant coaches design their meetings the way Sean conducts his meetings. So I think we're very, very pleased to have Sean. Now, when I first saw him again, I couldn't quite believe it was the same guy, because this is the guy I remember. And somehow, so a few, there's some things missing and some things added. But it's so funny because I got a text message from Andy Reid. And he said, "Have you forgiven him for almost getting me fired when we, most of you don't remember this, but when we played Wyoming and we were playing for the championship, we were both, I think we had one win, they had none, and ESPN was covering the game. And so our boy Cougs and Poofall, they're the jokesters, okay? So they have this WWE act, wrestling act, okay? Well, somehow ESPN gets a hold of this and wants to see it. So unbeknownst to us, they do a little ESPN WWE championship things that they play before the game. We proceed to get hammered by Wyoming, and Andy Reid pulled him in and said, "You're trying to get me fired. You guys are trying to get me fired." So he texted me and said, "Have you forgiven him for doing that?" And I said, "Well, just recently." So, but it's so good to have Sean, because you know we've been so blessed here in the last 9 years to have Mike Price, because he's brought credibility to our university, to our community. He's our biggest ambassador. He really has been. He's got a great national reputation. So now with the chance to bring another person back that really has a tie to UTEP and to the El Paso community. I can tell you that talking to he and his wife Patsy, they really love living here. They have a strong tie here, and you can see we got about half the 87 team here that still lives. They're all back. Although Officer Black said he had a traffic ticket he was arresting him for back there, but we have obviously he has so many friends here in El Paso, and everybody that knows him respects him. So we're very, very pleased to introduce our new UTEP head football coach. And by the way, I'd like to take credit. I'm the one-man search committee, but I'm not, unfortunately. Every time I've done a search, I always have Richard Dalto with me, who's a representative for Dr. Nalisi, who reports on a daily basis. And also another member of our staff, which was Chris Park, one of our senior associates, as person also to listen and review and interview the candidates that we have. So it's never a one-person selection committee at all. But anyway, we feel, you know, through the process, we really felt like Sean was the guy, and he did a tremendous job, and it was tough. I mean, he's working another job. We actually had his interview at 9 o'clock at night, 9 to about 11:30, because he couldn't get off work. That was his earliest he got off work. So it was a little bit more difficult for him than perhaps on the others. But with that, let me introduce our new football coach, Coach Sean Kugler.
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank Dr. Natalicio for allowing me this opportunity, and Coach Stahl, and I thoroughly enjoyed my interview with Richard Adalto and Chris Parks, and I appreciate those guys taking their time to come up to Pittsburgh to interview me. And I'm thrilled to be back in El Paso. As Coach mentioned, this is a second home for me. Spent 5 years here as a player, 8 years here as an assistant coach. 2 of my children were conceived here, and I have nothing but nothing but fond memories of El Paso. If you're wondering why I don't have a sports jacket, I'm going to call my wife out right here. She's home watching this on streaming video. Patsy, I love you, but you should have packed my jacket. I'm the first coach in the history of football to never go to a press conference without a sports jacket. But I apologize about that. It's great to see old teammates and old friends, and that's what makes El Paso unique, the quality of people here, and that's why my family loves El Paso and are excited about coming back. I'm excited about this opportunity. This is my first head coaching opportunity. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I've been influenced by some outstanding coaches in my career, and I wish to only emulate some of them. I do want to say that I've been UTEP's biggest fan from afar, from the time that I've left until now, and I hope to just build upon what Coach Price has done here. I'm Mike Price's biggest fan. I think he's an outstanding coach. The energy and enthusiasm he brought to this program and the job that he's done is outstanding. And again, I just hope to build upon that and help our program become better.
Hey, Coach.
Yes.
There's some reports out there you're going to finish the year with the Steelers, so when do you anticipate being all in with UTEP and handling the recruiting?
Well, I'm all in with UTEP, but I have an obligation to finish out the season with the Steelers. There's no possible way that I would ever leave my players during the middle of the season. I owe that to them. I love every single one of those players. And I'm hoping that it's later than sooner. We're right in the middle of a playoff run right now. We had a game that we took a step back Sunday and performed poorly, and we need to bounce back from that. So when I get back to Pittsburgh, I'm just going to do double time, double duty, and I'm gonna, on my own time, prepare everything I need to get done here. And on the Steelers' time, I'm going to give them everything I got until the end of the season. And I thank Coach Tomlin for allowing me to do it that way, because there's not many coaches that would allow you to do it that way.
Have you contacted any of the current recruits yet?
I haven't, again, because I'm not under contract right now, so legally I wouldn't be able to do that, but as soon as I can, I certainly will.
I'd like to add in recruiting where he's at, that when he hires assistants, they're going to have to really, first of all, the beauty of this right now, the beauty of good news, bad news, is after this weekend, you can't even see him personally. So any kind of contact will be by phone only. So if he hires some assistants, they'll certainly scramble this week to contact them, and he'll be able to call them, personally call them, but nobody will be able to see him anyhow from like the end of the first week of January.
What's it like playing with Bob Stoll again?
I didn't realize I made him that mad that time, but it seemed like a funny thing to do at the time. He took this long to get back at me, so it's kind of neat to look what I look like with hair. That's. I enjoyed every minute with Coach Stahl and his entire staff. I had a great relationship with Andy Reid, my offensive line coach, and he taught me more about football, and every single guy in that staff is what I'm hoping to accomplish with this staff. They were passionate. They love the game of football. They love their players, and that's what I want to be accomplishing here at UTEP with my staff and the type of attitude we want to bring. Yes?
Yes, Javier Sanchez, Juarez Media. What makes a successful coach in the NFL? I mean, it's the top of this sport. When coach college football?
Well, I have to be honest, there's probably several college jobs I wouldn't even be intrigued in, but this is a job that intrigues me because of my history here, because of my love for the program in the city of El Paso, and the fact that my family enjoyed every minute of it when we lived here. So there's inner pride in me that wants UTEP to do well, and I'd love to be a part of helping UTEP do well, and that's my main goal.
Two things. You know there's a fan base here because when you were here, I mean, this place is rocking, right? So how do you feel, what is it going to take to get that feeling back?
Well, ultimately, we're going to have to win games, and we're going to have to be successful and put a product on the field that the fans want to come and see. And I have seen this place full, and I have seen it rocking, and I know what it takes to get that there, and it's going to take a lot of hard work and dedication. But winning games brings the fans, and the El Paso fans are better than anywhere I've been. They're louder. They're behind their team. When the Sun Bowl's packed, it's a pretty difficult place to play.
How do they feel about you coming over?
You know, right now this all happened so quickly. I had an opportunity to meet with the team and meet with my players, and to be honest with you, that was very emotional. Again, I'm very close with all my players. They're a very young group. We have some injured guys right now, and it's tough for me even right now to be away from those guys knowing that they're injured right now. It's going to be hard for me to leave those guys. They understand. They were very supportive. They were very excited for me, and I appreciate them for being who they are and having that attitude.
Coach, Steve Capello with ESPN. You mentioned hard work as one of your big characteristics. What are some of the other things you'd like or that will happen as a Sean Kugler coach team?
Well, I want to see a team that displays mental toughness. I want to see a team that plays smart. I want to see a team that plays with passion, that enjoys playing. I want to see a team that embraces each other, and that's what a true team is. And I think it starts with recruiting those type of players, having those type of coaches on your staff, and teaching them daily, teaching them how to conduct themselves, teaching them how to respond to situations, and ultimately on the football field, teaching them situational football, how to respond in different situations on the football field. That gives you your best chance to have a successful program.
Any chance either of your sons join you?
My son Robert, he's currently a redshirt freshman. He's a starting guard for Purdue, and he loves it there at Purdue. He's an outstanding student. And then my youngest son, Patrick, has been committed almost a year to the University of Michigan. He's an outstanding football player, and one thing with my sons, I've always let them be themselves and make their own decisions, as I will all these players here, and I would never pressure him to change a commitment. And I know Coach is staring at me right now. Coach told me the only way I'm going to get this job is if Patrick changes his commitment, so I'll start putting the pressure on when I get home. But he is going to the University of Michigan, and they spent a lot of their time there in Detroit, and I'm happy because I've met the coaches at Michigan, and very ecstatic about him going there. Quality group of people, and I feel good about him playing up there. Thanks, Coach.
UTEP has proven to be a tough place, a hard place to win consistently at. What makes you think you can make UTEP a consistent winner?
Well, I'm going to do my best to make UTEP a consistent winner. I'm going to give everything I got. I can't promise anything beyond that, but I will give everything I got every day. I will give everything to my staff, everything to the players, and I hope that translates into wins for us. But that's what I intend to bring.
What are your thoughts of playing Conference USA?
I think it's an outstanding conference. There's a lot of quality teams in that conference. It's a competitive conference, and we hope to be competitive week in and week out.
The moment this opened, did you know you were going to take it to the offer?
The moment this opened, I was interested, and when I was contacted, I was asked my interest level, and I told them it was very high. And when I was offered the job, I didn't hesitate. I immediately accepted.
Any kind of a time frame on when you're going to start hiring assistants?
I'm hoping to get on it as quickly as possible. Again, the process is meeting with the coaches today and talking to those guys. They're an outstanding group of guys. I enjoyed meeting all the ones that I haven't met before in the coaching industry, but I'm looking forward to meeting with them, and then from that point, contacting coaches that I have prepared, and but I can't really give a time frame because sometimes that takes some time to put a staff together.
Do you think you have an edge because you're an ex-player, and do you think the student athlete of today would react better to your type of a coach than what we normally used to?
Well, I think being an ex-player at UTEP gives you an edge because, you know, the players have sat in these same chairs. They've went to school in the same buildings. They've eaten the same food. They've practiced on the same field. So when you explain something to them, I think they can relate to you, that this guy's done the same thing that they're doing right now. So when, you know, maybe they're having a tough time or maybe they're homesick or something like that, somebody that's been through that and that has been here explaining that to them, I think it probably hits home to those kids a little bit more.
Coach, being an offensive line guy, is this going to be ground and pound like the Steelers? You're working with a lot of different offenses. What kind of offense?
We're going to be a multiple offense. I'd like to be a little bit more two-back. I'd like to heavily utilize tight ends. I would say if you could compare the offensive style that we want to play, it's probably more similar to Boise State than it would be any other offense. I want to be multiple, but the ultimate thing is we want to utilize what we have talent-wise. I mean, if we have a great group of receivers, we want to utilize them. If we have an outstanding group of tight ends, we want to utilize them, and so forth. So, but being an offensive line coach, yes, I do believe it all starts up front, and I'm looking forward to meeting the offensive line and seeing their display of physicalness, and it all starts there on offense. But it'll be a quarterback-friendly offense, and I think if you're a quarterback, you're going to want to play in this offense because pro-style offense is fun to play in.
Are you going to be a coordinator?
I'm not going to be a coordinator, and I'm not going to call plays. I'm going to trust that all of my coaches are going to do their jobs, and that's going to be my main job is making sure that everybody's on point and everybody's on the same page, and I'm going to let those guys coach because as a coach myself, I've always responded best to coaches that let you coach, and I've been very blessed to have many coaches that give you that opportunity, and I think coaches flourish in that capacity. I'm not a micromanager. I'm going to let those guys be themselves and be their best selves.
How about your defensive philosophy?
My defensive philosophy, I like an attacking defense that flies to the ball. I like them being multiple as well to cause confusion for the quarterback. As far as I could tell you structurally, you know, I lean towards a 3-4 base and a nickel 4-2 because it's very multiple and you can do a lot of things out of it. But again, once we hire a coordinator, probably get into more detail with that. But the main thing is those guys will be well conditioned and running to the football or they won't be out there in the field.
Kevin Lovell, KVIA, ABC7. What is, obviously you have confidence, you've been a lot of places, done a lot of things, but what's your anxiety level right now? I mean, you haven't been a head coach.
Right.
You know the pressure is on. Of course, we all want you to do well. You
Sure.
want to do well for yourself. What is it?
Probably, you know, I would say probably one of my best strengths as a coach is I try not to have anxiety. I try to keep a level head when things aren't going good. You know, even in situation this year, we've lost 3 linemen for the year with injuries in Pittsburgh. You can't panic because then the players see you panic. You have to have a level head to be a coach, even under the toughest circumstances. And I always refer to Mike Tomlin after the best game against a quality opponent, or if you lose a tough game or have a game like we had yesterday where we didn't play well at all, he's always the same. And the players respond to that. And what it shows to them is under any circumstance, he's not going to panic. And the players feed off of that. And I'd like to emulate that, and that's how I like to, that's my coaching style, really.
Is there a different approach from the pros to college? I mean, obviously, your younger kids, do you see a different approach?
Probably just because of the age difference. You know, when you get freshmen in, there's so many more issues that you're dealing with. Again, seriously, homesickness, girlfriends, those type things, probably that you don't have to deal with at the professional level. But when you talk about, you get those guys in a room, there's no difference. They're all the same. If you stepped into my room at Pittsburgh, those guys are just like the guys in college and not much different. In fact, sometimes it seems like the older they get, the less immature they get.
I think the greatest thing is Patsy's coming back.
I agree too, and she'll be here soon enough, and she's excited about it, and we can't wait to make El Paso our home again.
Coach, I have a question. Excuse me. You haven't spent time up in Boise
sure it's very beautiful. Boise has had a very strong winning tradition. What are our attributes in your mind here in El Paso, beautiful city, our community, to attract quality recruits?
Well, first I have to say, when Coach Stahl drove me in last night, you know, I haven't been here since 2000. It looked like a different place. I was amazed by the growth and the facilities, the stadium. I think the Sun Bowl is one of the most beautiful stadiums in the country. I think the fans are passionate. I think El Paso's beauty itself, I think it's a beautiful place. I enjoy the desert. I enjoyed living in El Paso. I enjoyed my time at Boise because it's very similar climate, high desert, and there's so much here to offer. But again, the changes that have been made here, it's just a tribute to Coach Price and his staff and the progress they've made here. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.